If you're buying a property with 6 or more units in it, then you can opt to pay either the standard residential rates with the 3%, or you can opt to pay non-residential rates. Yeah, so those two are very different. So bear that in mind. If you're buying 2 or more properties together, then you can claim something called multiple dwellings relief, okay, which might reduce your overall SDLT that you're paying. Yeah, so that's to bear in mind. If you're buying property in a chain, and the chain's about to break, and you're going to rescue the chain so everybody else can complete, then you won't have to pay stamp duty land tax, as long as it's clear you're buying a property that was about to fall through. No SDLT to pay. If you're buying a property through probate, and the person whose property it was lived in the property 2 years before they died, then you and you're a property trader, so you're going to refurb and flip it on. You pay no stamp duty land tax, as long as you spend no more than 5% up to a maximum of 20,000, isn't it? Up to a maximum of £20,000 on refurbishing the property. But then you have to flip it and sell it on. So that's something that you should bear in mind. So to keep it really simple, okay, if you're buying property with a shop, okay, and a residential property upstairs, you don't pay the 3% on the uppers, yeah? So stamp duty land tax is quite complicated. There's a lot of caveats, twists and turns, and what your lawyer always tells you isn't always correct, just so you know. If you're buying a property that is uninhabitable, so let's say it's been empty for a long time, derelict possibly, a roof's missing, or all the pipe works all over the place, it's got asbestos, Japanese knotweed, okay, the wiring's all messed up, you can claim something called uninhabitable, or claim for the property to be uninhabitable, which means you pay a lot less in stamp duty land tax. Okay, there's a lot of caveats. If you're buying a property with stables, again you pay less SDLT. Yeah, if you're buying a property with a granny annex, it's likely to pay less SDLT. So SDLT, there's quite a few different breaks and exemptions. So always check them out. Unless it's a plain vanilla, you're buying a house, it's your first property or your second or additional property, and you're paying the 3%, then it's pretty straightforward. Anything outside that, there could potentially be savings for you on stamp duty land tax. Yeah. So let me talk you through one that I was just buying, which didn't quite go through, which I was talking to Dan about. So this is also on sale. The guy who bought it paid 1.8 million. He had 2 blue chip tenants. One was paying 90 grand rent a year, and the other one was paying £40,000. So he had £130,000 coming in a year. This particular tenant here reduced the rent to £50,000, and this guy or company vacated, so he's got a new company who come in. They're paying £20,000 for the first year up until August 2023, and then they'll pay £40,000 thereafter. So it's £90,000 rent roll for the year. But the good thing here is upstairs is vacant, and you can get 7 units in there. Yeah. So the cost on that would have been £300,000. The rent on that was similar to what you're saying. You're £750 per month times 12 gives us 9 grand times 7 gives us, I think it was 61,000. Yeah. So you got 61 plus 90, 151,000 on an asset that's going to cost you £1 million plus 300 grand, 1.3 million. Can you see the difference? Mm-hmm. Yeah, yours is 1.2 million and generates £58,000 in rental income. Okay, this is 1.3 million, so just 100 grand more, and it gets you 90 grand guaranteed rent from 2 commercial tenants. This is a big blue chip tenant. You all know who it is. Who are got a lease in place up until 2027. The second one has a lease in place up until the end of 2033. Yeah, so 90 plus the 60, 150. And I think that's the kind of deal that you want to be doing personally. So I appreciate this is your first one. I think the challenge you have is when you're doing your first deal, you're going to compromise, I think, to some extent, and I'm talking about my own experience. Sorry, Kiran. Kiran wants me to always stay on the stage. You're going to compromise the margin. And what I can tell you from experience is, the less experienced you are, the bigger the margin that you need, because you're going to make mistakes. Yeah. So if it's a 20% margin, what we know from experience is there's two things that happen when you do commercial conversions, which are guaranteed. Does anybody know what one of those might be? When you're doing a conversion, there's two things that are always going to happen.
Not me today.
Sorry? Higher costs. You see? That's number one. And the second thing? Takes longer. Yeah? So it's going to cost you more. So you said 500 grand, it could be 550. Okay? And then you've got your bank finance on top. That's going to cost you more and it'll take you longer. So this 20% margin, because it's costing you more, might become 15%. Might become 12.5%. All of a sudden, it isn't worth doing. So I think you ought to be looking at, unless you've got experience of doing commercial conversions, you ought to be looking at a margin of minimum, I'd say 25%, possibly 30%. Simply because I think there's good deals to be had out there, and if you're smart about it, you'll find them. Yeah? I know there's people out there, I've got clients who are working on an 18% margin, on a 20% margin, but they're whacking out stuff on a regular basis. Every 3, 6, 9 months, they're buying the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Okay, they've got a team in place, they've got costs in place, they can do the stuff efficiently. Yeah, something which costs us 500 grand here, they'll probably do it for 350. Yeah, so they can afford to be tight on the margin because they've got a very different process. Because you're new, and I've been where you were 7, 8 years ago, sat in this particular room, in fact. I know the mistakes people make when they're starting off. Yeah, so I'd say don't compromise the margin. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, by the way, make sure you click like, subscribe and post a comment because that tells me that you're engaging and you're finding the content useful. And if you like this video, make sure you check out this video here because it's the next stage in terms of your learning and development.